Hi, and welcome to this live reading from UnStuck by Natalia Hooker, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Slow down and enjoy life. It's not only the scenery you miss by going too fast, you also miss the sense of where you are going and why. Eddie Cantor. October 1997. A sunset orange leaf lands at my feet, my first New York autumn. I take it as a sign. A new season, a new home, and a new life. As I walk down 16th Street, I admire the tree-lined road and brownstone buildings. Cafes and restaurants toward Union Square are already buzzing with life. I love this area, and I'm hopeful today's viewing will end my seemingly endless apartment hunt. Striding along at my usual fast pace, flicking back my shoulder-length hair, I scan the buildings for number 37. The house where I grew up in Australia was number 37. My first office job in Sydney, 37th floor. That number has always been a good omen for me. When I reach the building, I clamber up the murky blue carpeted stairway, wobbling in my heels on the steep, uneven stairs. The door to apartment 2B is open, so I walk in. Two dim spotlights light the far corners. A balding man sits in the middle of a large black leather sofa. "Sit there," he booms, pointing to a lonely desk chair in the middle of the room. With my short, tailored beige suit, I perch carefully, feeling like Sharon Stone being interrogated in Basic Instinct. I gently swivel on the seat, eyeing the parquet floor, exposed brick walls, tall windows facing an internal courtyard, and an original marble fireplace. I do some quick redecorating in my head to brighten it up. After weeks of trudging through cockroach-infested hovels in my price range, this place feels like a dream. Getting a decent deal on a place in Manhattan is no small feat. I sell myself hard. I'm so clean. I'll always pay early. I'll stay for years, if that's what you want, of course. But he's non-committal. A slew of applicants, he tells me. So I call the guy every day without fail until he crosses off all the other candidates one by one, and I successfully convince him the apartment is meant to be mine. He later recalls what a pain in the butt I was. "You were very persistent," he admits. The first night of my new apartment, I celebrate by pouring a glass of Australian Cabernet Sauvignon, bought from the handy liquor store on the corner. Sitting on the black leather sofa, I look up at the high ceiling. This is my space, my studio. I jump up and do a pirouette, followed by a few pliés, using the mantelpiece above the fireplace as my ballet bar. I go back to the sofa, inspired to write on a notepad. Priorities. Number 1, lifestyle. Check. Yay, I'm living in a cool apartment on 16th Street in Manhattan. Number 2, career. Check. Having completed a successful summer internship with a boutique investment bank, they offered me a full-time job. The decision for me as a single 26-year-old Aussie to stay in New York City was a no-brainer. The last 3 months have been the most fun of my life, not to mention the great work experience. I can't help but get excited as to what this stint in the finance capital of the world will do for my curriculum vitae. Number 3, relationship. No check. Work in progress. Come on, there are millions of men in this city. Over 3 years later. In New York, I'm all in. I go to every show, every dance company performance, every ballet and opera that hits the stage at the Met. I have subscriptions, seat preferences, favorite bouncers. The velvet ropes, they part for me. I don't know if it's the way I speak or just pure confidence, but somehow I can always get a group in. Best table, hottest spot, no problem. The city hums with energy and I move in time with it. Work hard, play hard. Everything moves at a dizzying pace, and I'm keeping up, heels clicking down Fifth, coffee in hand, life flashing by like a montage. My friends call me Velcro. I have a knack for picking people up wherever I go. Strangers don't stay strangers for long, whether it be someone waiting for a drink at the bar or someone at the next table at Capriani. I end up talking, connecting, adding another number to my contacts in my phone. New York is mine. I absolutely love it, but I am constantly sleep deprived, and the question would always niggle inside, is my life here sustainable? I lean back on the green leather desk chair in my office. Papers are piled high on the long bench behind me. There are stacks of investment committee memos, abandoned deal proposals, and folders of nothing important. They are collecting dust, and I don't need them, but I never get around to sorting through the mounds. The phone rings. I recognize the country code. 48. Poland. Hi, Mom. Hi, my baby, she beamed. So nice to catch you. Mum is always upbeat. Sometimes nicknamed Zsa Zsa Gabor, she's a bubbly petite blonde with a thick Polish accent. She met my dad in Poland during the communist period, followed him to Australia, became an actress, and earned her seaplane pilot's license. I look at the clock on the wall. Already 3 p.m. Where has the day gone? I'm swamped, I say. Can we chat on the weekend? Oh, just a minute, darling. It's nice to hear your voice, Mum insists. What about the guy you were seeing? Anything interesting? What guy? Can't even think who might have been of interest enough to tell my mom. Nothing new on the man front, I say. This deal I'm working on is huge. I haven't had time to focus on a relationship. Just tell me quickly, Mum continues. How is it going at work? Same as always, surrounded by a mob of young, balding men in matching yellow ties with egos the size of the Empire State Building. Not to mention their pink shirts. Yikes. And Brooke Brothers cufflinks, colorful, knotted material ones. I look down at my own attire. I'm wearing a tailored black pantsuit with a fitted ruby red lace shirt. The young guys in the office tell me I have a downtown look. It's a good company, baby, and just remember that Bob adores you. He'll look after you. Bob Davis, our chairman and CEO, is a class act. White hair, understated manner, a legendary deal maker. He's been my mentor and like family. He too wears pink shirts and yellow ties, somehow charming for a man of his stature. Within 20 years, he built his company from nothing into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Over the past years in New York, he's nurtured my career, trusted me with secrets, and given me much-needed confidence. He's handed me over to a pack of tormented souls, I mutter. Don't be so dramatic. He'll be there when you need him. I wish I could share her optimism. For the past year, I've been reporting directly to a young boss who is consumed by his own career path. Like all the other senior executives, he's busy vying for Bob's attention and demanding back-patting for his own achievements. All I know is after this deal is closed, I'm going on holiday. As I leave the office that evening, I reach for my coat, and that's when I see it, like noticing something for the very first time. The printout had been on my wall for years, crooked, curling at the edges, pinned beside an unused yoga pass and a photo from last summer's team building trip. Desiderata. I'd read it once or twice when I first put it up, probably during a rough week, but this time the words tug at me, especially one line. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember that what peace there may be in silence. I stand there for a long moment, the city glowing through the glass behind me, headlights threading their way through the streets below. For once, standing still feels like progress. That evening, I enter my building, stopping to open the mailbox. There's a wad of papers bursting out of the rather angry-looking mouth above the 2B plaque. The sign on the door that says no junk mail is completely ignored. I sigh and grab the papers and envelopes clambering up the familiar stairs to my apartment. My 375-square-foot Chelsea apartment, that's small by most standards, still feels awesome, and it suits my intensely New York lifestyle. I place the lump of mail on a table and head in the direction of my tiny kitchen. Maybe there's something left over from last night's takeaway? The refrigerator's meager contents total some leftover soy sauce packets from ordered-in sushi and a half-empty can of Coke. I close the fridge door, disappointed. This is the home that I have come to refer to as my parking spot. A place where I change from office attire to going out gear, a refuge to nurse a hangover while watching MTV's Behind the Music and reruns of Friends, and where I store my steadily increasing collection of business suits and cocktail dresses. Even my cactus has died because I haven't watered it. I look at my watch. It's already 8:30 p.m. I need to be at Lot 61 for an event at 9. I quickly change and fluke getting a taxi up 6th Avenue. At the bar, I spot a suited-up, handsome 30-something, tall, clean-cut. He catches me looking. He smiles, runs a hand through his hair, and approaches. Seems I caught your eye, he asks. I'm Carter. What's your name? He bites his lower lip rather sexily with his straight white teeth. Luna, I answer. My head bows slightly as I sip through the straw of my gin and tonic, fixing my green eyes on him. Luna, pleasure to meet you. He puts out his hand for me to shake. Pleasure to meet you too, I say, giving him a big smile. I take his outstretched hand. Hey, you have an accent. Are you from England? No, I'm Australian. Awesome. Put a shrimp on the barbie, he says, feigning his best Australian twang, and lets out a robust laugh. I've gotten used to this line, so don't fault him for it, but then he asks, and what do you do in the city? This is the formidable New York question. I know the rest of the banter ahead. This is part of the usual questions. What do you do in the city? Followed by, where do you live? Then, what is your job title? And sometimes even, how much do you earn? I work in an investment bank, I answer him, and then the conversation starts to drift from awesome to not quite so interesting. As I answer his next questions one by one, he finds out I'm a second vice president, which sounds very senior and important, but it's really no big deal. My newfound friend's eyes glaze over. A banker? I can almost see the word disappointment engraved on his forehead. He's a banker too, weren't we supposed to bond? The reality is, though, I don't want to talk about my work. I want to talk about anything but. In New York, it seems you are defined by what you do. I used to be a passionate dancer, loved to go clubbing, was really into music, and have always been a big traveler open to learning languages. However, we never get to the interesting aspects of possible conversation. I really would like people to see the creative side of me, but that somehow gets lost in corporate New York. I start to wonder if I've done myself a disservice by working in what is still considered by many to be a man's world. Cute men in New York want to be with actresses or models, something easy, glossy, light. They don't know what to do with an ambitious downtown suited finance girl. They, like me, want to have breezy conversations about a different slice of life. My job is certainly not exciting to talk about. While I give a big yes to the money, who have I become? Flings come and go, rich, broke, shy, Dutch, Belgian, banker, non-banker, male model. That was nice. I even kissed a Bosnian refugee on a plane coming back from Amsterdam one time. That was really nice until they put me in the refugee line when we arrived at JFK because they thought we were married. None of it sticks. Life in New York skips along at double speed, and lately it's starting to feel hollow. I worked so hard to get here. I have the degrees, the job, the lifestyle, but somewhere along the way I lost touch with the part of me that used to dance, write, and dream.